What is up, guys? Back in today with another reaction to the Berserk manga. This time I'll be reacting to volume 23. I do just want to go over the Of Fire and Flame first act and final act once again, just quickly before we get into this. Really good couple chapters, obviously fleshing out Serpico and Farnese even further. We had quite a bit of focus on them during the last arc, but then it kind of dulled out a little bit, but kind of reigniting that flame, pardon the pun, but really enjoyed this actually. And answered a few questions I did have. Again, I was always kind of questioning what if they did know each other's kind of backstories and such, and it actually turns out they were a very huge part of each other's backstories, weren't they? And they do kind of know everything about each other. But yeah, some brutal stuff in here, of course. Serpico's mother being very ill, and then getting burned at the stake. Well, I say right in front of him, by his own torch, which Farnese passed to him. You know, this doll as well that Farnese really thought was very precious, gifted to her by her father years ago, one of the only gifts he personally gave to her, and then he made her burn it. A lot of the stuff has stayed with me, of course, but really good character writing, wasn't it? Some very creepy moments as well. Kids are always really creepy. In not in general, but in a kind of horrific setting. Again, I think it comes from, I think I mentioned this last time about kind of dolls and kids' toys being kind of pure, and then that being so scary because it's like that purity going the complete opposite end. Same with kids, I think. Same with kids, they're that kind of pure, unperverted by the ways of the world, and then you see them kind of stained, and yeah, there it is. Got told to burn her little toy. We do not have the power now to melt the snow that lies thick about us. Perhaps we wanted merely to feel the warmth in each other, a warmth we had in common. And this is one of the last times you'll see these guys like this as well, which is a shame, honestly. But yeah, I think it turns out they're kind of half brother and sister as well, aren't they? As we kind of time skipped. Not sure what this was about. We did see that Farnese does like putting out a bit of punishment earlier on with Guts. They're bent together. Warped. Indeed. How can anyone not be in this universe, though? And a lot of people are in general life. Again, it's just like people don't want to show that to other people. People put on their faces and their normal stuff, like at work, for example. People just put on their work face and go into autopilot and such. That's what I really hated about working in an office. It was just going into autopilot, just 8 hours going by. Draining 8 hours of nothing. And I think it's especially the case in like an office in a setting like I was in, when the work isn't really too rewarding at all. And the only thing that the thing is, the only thing that really got me through that, I think, was being a smoker, being able to have cigarettes. And I don't smoke anymore, so can't imagine doing that nowadays. Yep. Prove she's not. What were we delivered from? What were we enchained by? Yep, now we're following Guts' dark shadow. So yeah, let's get right into volume 23, which I haven't seen the cover of yet. Usually kind of spoil myself a little bit, but okay, we see the new soldiers of Griffith here, the dragon. I forgot his name. Something like Sneeze. Something like that. Zod, and then the shape. I don't know that guy's name either. That one a bit more understandable. I think it was some kind of Egyptian-like name. Really mad I forgot this guy's name. I remembered it quite well last when I was reading the chapters. An interesting blue though on the outside here, isn't it? And I've been bringing this up quite a lot, honestly, haven't I? About this. What we saw this ages ago. I think it was at the start of the last arc, right, where we saw this kind of fox-like dark spirit, and I say spirit. It's not really a spirit, is it? It kind of is. It's almost like the spirit of Guts' kind of vengeance and anger and all the bad kind of emotions and such that Guts feels, kind of wrapping around him, as we see here, wrapping around him through his cape. I guess that is pretty poetic, actually, isn't it? That well, that's wrapping around his cape, but it's kind of is that layer on him, and it literally is that layer on him at all times. Wow, I probably could have put that together a bit quicker, perhaps, but yeah, wow. I'm looking again. I was really interested when they brought this up. I'm looking forward to seeing more of this and how this affects Guts. I think it's going to majorly negatively affect him. Obviously, all this built-up rage and stuff, and I'm not sure he'll be able to control it at some point. I mean, it's crazy enough. We actually saw like I'm not really sure how to explain if it was like a living kind of an existence of this, which is kind of scary enough as is. There's an existence of your kind of negative emotions. I think that's a very bad sign. As we quite fittingly see Casca on the other side of that, I think it will be. We did get asked that question by Skull Knight in the last arc if he'd choose Casca or revenge and such, and we got that again here. But will he even be able to make a choice? Will this kind of darkness just overwhelm him? Is a scary possibility. I mean, the logical and best choice would be Casca, but yeah. And again, we get this nice little shot at the tops. Yeah, really cool artwork there. Says a lot, doesn't it? This artwork says a lot. And like I said, I've been looking forward to seeing more of this fox dark spirit for a long time. But let's see what chapters we got. Oh, we got another bit of artwork. Damn, yeah, look at this. Is he gained even more? He's gained even more badass motherfuckers, my god. I mean, the shape guy isn't even here. Maybe he's in one of these armors, but I doubt it. Dragon guy's up there, of course. Again, who I'm going to call Sneeze. But wow, we got even more really cool teammates. That's really awesome. Zord, of course. Maybe the shape is in here somewhere, but I just can't find him, perhaps. Like a Where's Wally? Love this armor here. Really insect looking. These guys look like brothers. These guys look like brothers. They also have very unhuman hands. Inhuman hands. And the pure white. Oh, I didn't even spot this guy. Interesting. Oh, there he is. Again, it was a bit like a Where's Wally. Maybe yeah, he does actually stand out quite a lot. But yeah, I did spot him. There he is. Yeah, this guy's like a Robin Hood. Kind of archer looking guy. Bam. Again, look at this squad. It is ridiculous. How awesome is that? And then again, just the pure white of Griffith with the, again, very poetic kind of shadow. Nothing in there. Just like a hollow armor. Again, very fitting, isn't it? Because he is just a bit of a hollow armor. He is just his dream. He's been streamlined to his dream. And there's nothing else in there. No humanity, no feelings. Although, I say that, there there is a little guy in there that does have feelings and such. So maybe that's not exactly true, but again, it is a hollow cocoon. Very poetic. And we get another one. What is going on here? Just getting absolutely treated. Just getting absolutely treated. This one I'm gonna have to like turn my head. We've just got Casca and Guts. I mean, there's not too much going on here, honestly. It's like a creepy castle in the background, and Guts and Casca. Really interesting style of drawing this, though. It almost looks like it's kind of charcoal, is it? No, it's not charcoal. Coal. I can't remember what they're called. Those horrible chalk. That's the one. Oh. Just hearing the name chalk makes me want to just cringe. I hate chalk. I hated it at my primary school when they'd use chalk on the boards. I just hate the sound of it. I know we can't feel it, but I hate the kind of feeling of it on the. It just feels so great, and using it is horrible as well. I hate it. It was an absolute blessing to me when kind of projector boards where you could kind of tap on and touch screen, and you had those pens instead, those pens that could write on the board. And they weren't actual pens, but kind of e-pens, I call them. I was so glad when that came through, because again, I just always just kind of feel horrible. Anyone else feel like that? I feel like that might be quite a weird thing. I never really noticed anyone else in my class kind of feel anyway about it, but I just squirmed a bit at chalk of all things. Just like the grating sound, it's really got to me. But yeah, tangent over. Quite the long intro to this these chapters. Apologies. Obviously, if you guys wanted to, you could skip. Volume 23. So we've got Winter Journey Parts 1 and 2, which lines up nicely for today's reaction. Falcon of the Millennium Empire arc, of course. Holy Evil War chapters. Scattered Time, Fangs of Ego, Wilderness Reunion, and the War of Demons. So yeah, it looks like we're actually going to be changing up the format from what was it? From 11 chapters, I think, to 10, which is good for me. Interesting that's the case, isn't it? Yeah, we got Wilderness Reunion, the War of Demons, Banner of the Flying Sword, Wings of Light and Darkness, The Night of Falling Stars, and Like a Baby. Okay, don't gain too much from those chapter names, not as much as the last few, I don't think. But let's get right into Winter Journey Part 1. Ooh, like a wind is blowing, spirits are flowing into the snow. So we've got some Jack Frost bastards coming up here. Any of you guys watch Jack Frost or Jack Frost 2? I watched them at quite a young age. My cousin had loads of horror. He'd live at my nan's, and there was loads of there was like a mark on my screen there. There's just a little bit of random darkness on the right. Yeah, he'd have a lot of horror movies there. So whenever I go around my nan's, I just go up his room. Sometimes just play some Nintendo 64 and watch some horror movies sometimes. Jack Frost being some of them. I watched pretty much all of the Friday the 13th movies there. Pretty much all the Omen movies there. Watched Zombie Strippers. That was interesting. I don't think I watched any Nightmare on Elm Street, but a few other kind of just random horror movies. Yeah, I remember Jack Frost because it was pretty terrible, but in a good way. The second one was just pretty terrible, but the first one was pretty terrible in a decent way. Yeah, we got some Jack Frosts here. There's no end to them. Not like that's new. Casca. It really is snowing very hard, isn't it? They're both covered. Almost looks like Casca's like face is frozen, but I think that is just like facial snow. I imagine maybe quite a few people might make some edits of that. Sweet. All these hands. All these loose hands. What was that all about? Casca just sits there in the snow. It's cold, huh? I'm just dandy though. I was going to say a second ago, imagine holding onto your metal hand is quite cold as well. Yeah, have a little wash. I was about to say as well, I wasn't about to say, but I was thinking before this, we haven't had any nudity or much kind of craziness that I've had to censor recently, which is good. But again, I was thinking before this, we're probably going to have a mass amount of it at some point. It's been building up, we haven't had much. At some point, we're just going to have an explosion of loads, I think. Ah, cut that out. Yeah, you'll share too, Guts. Fine. But if you don't eat, you can't keep up your strength. You're swinging your sword around from dusk till dawn, even on good days. Another very good movie. I loved that movie when I first watched it. Still good on rewatch, but I think the initial watch of that movie, I'm not going to spoil it. I might have spoke about it before, to be fair. But yeah, definitely worth a watch if you're, especially if you haven't watched it already. And it's got Quentin Tarantino as an actor, so you got that was enough. That was enough for me to watch it. And he's not bad in the movie either. He fits the role pretty nicely. From dusk to dawn on even good days. It's actually harder than I thought it'd be. And lately, there have been swarms of evil spirits and incubi. Incubi, they're the little kind of tentacle guys, aren't they? Constantly wielding my sword while watching over someone. Here. You'll be cold with this open. That was some good fish. Oh, and here we go. Again, she's got much better with the being around Guts, hasn't she? But what's even harder than that? Remembering who she was. Must be awful having this kind of unrequited love that was requited but just taken away by circumstance, by the current of the world. Is how this shadow of who used to be keeps reminding me of all those days and how they were shattered. That kind of sounds like a Nickelback lyric. I used to quite like Nickelback. And then it became really popular to hate Nickelback. I remember hearing a story about Nickelback talking about how it became really popular to hate Nickelback, and they were right. It did become really popular to hate on Nickelback. Same, you see that a lot nowadays, don't you? People bandwagon and just not even knowing full stories and such, just getting onto people and stuff about matters they know very little about. It's quite scary that social media is like it was always going to take that direction. I think social media is quite scary anyway. It's almost like AI, but not. It's like AI created from humans, like thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of human minds all congregated in one place, like Twitter, for example, giving their opinions and you putting their minds in one place. It's almost a bit of a kind of a superhuman. It's might have explained that quite strangely, but yeah, stuff like that is just quite scary. It's just going to keep getting more advanced and stuff, isn't it? yeah, I would say people are a lot less afraid of not knowing they're wrong nowadays. But yeah, this absolutely sucks for Guts. Like I said, must be so hard being reminded of the love that you had while with the person you had the love for. And nothing even really bad happened between you two. It just happened to you two. It wasn't between them. It was against them. Have that constant reminder 24/7. Never thought I'd see Guts this heroic. Quite shocking. But I wonder if he's spreading himself too thin. Puck, what kind of place is your homeland? Well, you see, it's a great place. Elfhelm. Cute as hell. A utopia floating in the sea, far to the west. Floating in the sea, so it's like a remote island. Everywhere flowers blooming, birds singing, elves dancing. An elfin paradise of eternal spring, open year round. Oh, my beautiful homeland. So why are you not at your homeland, if it's so beautiful? That's not really what I meant. If it's so dreamy, why'd you ever leave? I got bored. Just stone-faced killer. It's the Puck over here. Understandable. Sometimes you can have too much of a good thing. And you see a lot with celebrities and rich people. Sometimes they're actually like the most depressed and most messed up people because they've got everything. I'm oversimplifying that quite a bit, but that is actually quite a common occurrence. And I've always been very interested about kind of psychological stuff like that. About like a situation which would be amazing with someone, like winning the lottery, or again being famous or rich, or being part of the 1%, but it's not all it's made out to be. Perhaps those people would rather actually just an average kind of life, but yeah. Who knew I'd ever be relying on him? Right now I have to cling to any hope, however small. So apologies for that, guys. I just had a little cut, but looked and it said my screen had frozen. Well, I didn't say. I saw that my screen was frozen. That covers the images. Hopefully that wasn't covered for you guys, but go over the last couple quickly. I'll come back to where we were. Yeah, apologies if the last couple of screens had frozen there. Hopefully not. Who knew I'd ever be relying on him? Right now I have to cling to any hope, however small. You should sleep a little too, Guts, before night falls. Don't worry, I'll pipe up if anything happens. How reassuring. Thanks. I think I will. I'm counting on you. Roger. Standing very tall, like a little guard right there. A little soldier in an iron suit. Oh. Let's go, Puck. Oh, here it is. Here it is. The darkness. I love how they do that as well. Change the back from black to white. I think that probably would. I'm not sure about ink and print and stuff, but probably would be a bit more expensive to do this, having a white background. But yeah, here's the fox in a much smaller form, in a much more actual fox looking form right here. Do you sleep? Do you dream? Dreams of him. Why is it? Why don't you chase him? You finally met with him. Just a little farther. Let's go to him. Yeah, much smaller. But still got the face that Guts makes when when he gets raging in battle, exactly the same face, just blank darkness with a sliver of white. Look at those teeth. There's a good representation of Guts' teeth, obviously not his actual teeth, but his kind of fighting prowess and stuff, and how scary he actually is. The thing, if you were to put him as a monster, he'd look abominable. Let's give him a heap of raw iron. Because of this woman here, leave her be. Is she that precious? Yes, well she was. Actually, it's looking more like a dog here, but got a fox face, so I'm just going to keep calling it the fox. Really? Sticking his tongue out like that. More so than Griffith? He's no longer the warrior you knew. Just a husk. Quite funny, isn't it? Actually, now I'm thinking about it. I mentioned in the intro about Griffith suit being that husk. Casca as well as a bit of... I'm not sure she's a husk. I think she's more like a... you know, I can't remember what they're called, but those dolls that you'd have like... You'd have a big one, and then you'd crack it open, there'd be a smaller one, crack it, smaller one, crack it, smaller one, crack it, smaller one. Like, her memories and such are kind of locked in the smallest one, and there's so many kind of outward layers of this stupidity that she is now. I say stupidity, that's being very harsh. She lost everything, but it still is stupid. And there's so many kind of... I think maybe it can be attainable to get that back, because we've seen flashes of her seeing her past. So I'm not sure it's exactly the same as a husk, but very similar, along the same lines, isn't it? But we see that Guts could also be that as well. Guts could be this husk just for anger and hatred and all these negative emotions for this kind of fox. So all three of them are kind of fit in that bracket, which I think is pretty damn good story writing so far, isn't it? But obviously Guts is not that way inclined thus far. He's not just pure rage and anger. There is more to this guy still. But again, with Casca and Griffith, not so much the case. Less so in Casca's case, but I do wonder if it is kind of going that way. It's an interesting point to think about there. Internet's gone off. Says it's fine. Sorry guys, not sure what happened there. My internet went off for like a microsecond. Just a husk. Someone else. And yet she's precious. You can continue thinking of her, of this woman, even now, of her alone. Is she not precious only because she's the wound Griffith left, because you want to keep feeling that pain he caused you? Interesting point. Interesting point. I don't think that's the case, but it might slightly be a bit of the case, so we're not 100% sure, but this is a very common occurrence for a lot of people that do have trauma. You see it with like Stockholm syndrome, and people that have been like captured and abducted, they actually kind of gain a, I'm not sure if it's a respect, but a kind of an admiration or something along those lines for their kind of captor and their kind of source of pain. You see it a lot with, I mentioned this a lot of times, people who want freedom and want to be free and such, but actually they're much better off and probably would rather actually being confined, and that's how we are in society nowadays. Especially a lot of people want freedom and all this and such, but I feel like once they get that freedom, they'll just kind of self-destruct / just want to go back to not having it. But Yeah, I mean, it makes a pretty damn good point here. You just want to keep the remembrance of that pain, you just want to keep feeling that so he never forgets it. Remembering that wound that Griffith left is pretty. Again, I don't think I agree with him just seeing her as a wound. As we've seen literally a couple pages ago, he still thinks of her as a resemblance of the old Casca. It's not the same Casca, but it's her in body, but just resembles that love. My opinion, again, it should, rather than remembering her for the wound, you should remember her for, again, the love he had with her during that time, and view it in a positive light. Again, we know that's not how this fox thinks, as we saw in the intro. He's literally like the embodiment of Guts' darkness and negative emotions, so this guy's never going to say anything nice. But yeah, good and interesting point he does bring up here, though. He gets a little bit more demonic. She's a sacrifice, so you can continue longing for Griffith. Go away. If she's a sacrifice, there's a better use for her. If you just do this, again, I don't think you'd ever, fuck's sake, I don't think you'd ever want to go to sleep with your Guts, would you? First time he gets to go to sleep in a while, I imagine, gets fucking treated with this. I wonder if we'll ever get any panels of Guts just having a nice little nap. I very much doubt it. First of all, why would you show that? But second of all, it's just almost impossible. If you just do this, you'll get closer and closer to Griffith. Huh. I'm imagining that this is just a dream, because the setting looks exactly like where we're at. It's just like a dream, but it's like reality in a dream, if that makes sense. He's dreaming, but he can't get out of this nightmare, if that makes sense. Like he's having a nightmare right now, but the nightmare is where he's at. It already, like, this world already is the nightmare. I think that's the kind of, is juxtaposition the right word for that? I think that is the kind of funny thing here, isn't it? That he's dreaming and he's asleep, but the nightmare is actually just exactly where he's in the situation he's in with the people he's with at the minute. Or this could just be happening, which I doubt. Again, I think this is in kind of like dream, but it was also kind of happening as well with this kind of fox spirit. It is actually kind of going through this right now. That makes sense. You get closer, but yeah, her brand is breeding. I'm thinking too much of boobs. Her brand is bleeding, which is quite intriguing, actually, isn't it? Why is that the case? Like, whatever this is around Guts, not a demon, is it? I mean, it looks very demonic and stuff, and I don't know. Stop it! You desire this. There is one of those, I forget what they called them. Incubi. Wait, so we have woke up now, I think, and Puck has done fuck all. You little rat, Puck. Just awake to a load of these fuckers round us. Well, are these things kind of like putting the dreams in our head? I don't think so. Good job though, Puck. Good job fucking helping us, you little rat. Casca's sweating up pretty big time. Maybe these are actually putting like nightmares and stuff in our head. Wow. When did the clouds roll in? It was dumb to trust him. And he's getting done himself. Oh dear. Look at this little Incubi here. How cute is that? Look at his little eye. Oh. He's like, oh, that's so cute. He's like a very unbothered. I don't know if you guys are getting this from this eyeball. But oh, if you're right, because it's just an eyeball, but it just looks so unbothered. Just looks like so nonchalant, just sitting on top of Puck like that as he's waving his little. Apologies, guys. As if that could ever be. As if. As if. Interesting. I'm not 100% sure what to think of this, actually. In fact, he said it again. As if that could ever be. As if. I think it could be. I think the fact he said it twice here means it could be. Especially if he is consumed by that kind of dark fox. I think that's maybe what he's scared of right here, actually. Maybe that's why he's trying to convince and reassure himself as well. Interesting. Let's read some comments to finish off this chapter, and then we'll get right into the Winter Journey Part 2. Yeah, I was thinking about Guts' feet as well. They look like the fucking transformation in in An American Werewolf for London. They look like a bloody transformation scene there. Like werewolf feet. Someone talking about how the Dark Fox is maybe going to give Guts a power up. I could kind of see that if he like embraces it, and then again we saw Casca bleed a little, so maybe it is demonic. Maybe that's why she was bleeding in the dream as well, because those Incubi. That would make sense, but again, maybe it is a kind of. I think it probably is something demonic. Maybe if he can kind of. Maybe if he does kind of become one or gets consumed by it, he does get absolutely kind of some kind of superhuman powers, perhaps. Who knows? That's pretty shonen thinking right there. Yeah, people are also agreeing with me about Guts' feet. They do look like a werewolf's feet. They look like the transition between a human and a werewolf. They're just really long. I'm not sure why we're having such a discussion about Guts' feet, but we are. I want to talk, to be fair, my feet aren't in great condition. I play a lot of football, so in general, footballers' feet aren't the nicest looking things. Mine are pretty good looking considering, but they do go through a lot of pain, a lot of wear and tear. But yeah, that's and pretty much all the comments are just talk about Guts' feet. So we'll get right into the next chapter. But some really interesting stuff there. Like I said, I was really looking forward to seeing the Fox Spirit again. And I think the more we progress in the story, the more frequently we'll see it. We're not seeing it again. It's been like what, at least 4 volumes or something like that since we last saw it. So it's still going to be quite a distance between meetings with this Fox Spirit, I think. But again, I think the more we see it, the more frequent we'll be seeing it. the more negative stuff and more kind of stress and stuff we put under as well, I imagine the more we'll see it. As it looks like there's even more spirits to deal with. You guys don't think this guy looks pretty cute as well? Squinting his eyes like that. These other two not so much. This guy looks horrible. He looks like I hate that type of mouth. It looks like the mouth from one of the Cenobites. The one with the the one with the horrible face. The one with the mouth like that. Like constantly kind of biting down. Kick some butt. Dawn's around the corner. Oh. You know, Guts have been a little odd lately. Like he's more serious, kinda. Well, he's always been really serious, hasn't he? I say that, he did have quite a few kind of bits of fun, especially during the more than ever, I think. More than everything else combined during the Golden Age. He had quite a lot of fun moments, didn't he? Quite a lot of rebuttals and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, he's had them afterwards, but not nearly as commonly. You desire this. It's crazy. Again, he's still thinking about that, which again is quite scary because, like I said, it's almost like he's convincing himself about it. And I think he's doing that because the possibility is there, isn't it? The possibility is that he chooses revenge and anger and gets consumed by this, rather than choosing love and what he kind of treasured before. He's scared because the possibility is very much there. Is what I'm getting anyway. Oh, we got a little rat. Oh. Come on, Casca. Going out there is dangerous. And stuff like this, I can't imagine helps. You see her being useless. Subconsciously, that does something to you, I think. Again, you could just kind of blow this off, whatever, but multiple instances of this stupidity would wear you down, I think, a little bit, wouldn't it? Would get on your nerves, would start making you think, start making you question even more. In very slight percentages, I think. Again, it's not like this is going to kind of completely change his mind or anything, but little stuff like this is going to be a factor in the future, I think. Oh, wow. As we jump in to save her. Again, I hate these these are the really like horrible ones for me, the nasty little fucking mouths like this. When you can see there, again, like the Cenobite guy, I don't know any of their names other than Pinhead, with a kind of showing gums. I just find that really horrible in a good way. Guts, gah, gah. And maybe this kind of ties in with his pain as well. Maybe it's she reminds him of that pain and that scar Griffith left, but she also literally kind of deals kind of pain to him, makes him suffer like he did physically more than mentally. Also mentally in a way as well, because he's trying to protect her here against the demons like he did then. Again, there's a lot of food for thought in that last chapter, wasn't there? A lot of food for thought. As we see it again, it's been shown throughout. It's been shown a lot throughout. These eyes, these fox eyes. Oh crap! Oh crap! Again, the fact he was questioning it, I think it makes him more vulnerable to it as well, doesn't it? The fact that he's almost a bit confused about it makes his mind stay bit more vulnerable. So I'm not sure what kind of essence or whatever this is, but is this like a thing where it's just open and it openly accepted Guts' body, and yeah, it's interesting. Guess we'll see. But gets Casca by the neck, possessed by this darkness. What is he going to be thinking after he realizes he done this? Guts! Oh, put. Are they gonna? That Guts in there trying to say stop. Or is that us Casca, I imagine? Wait, is it Casca? Because Casca can't even say stop. Stop it! I think it's Guts. That was actually more the kind of spirits kind of possessing him a bit there. Again, I think the weakened mind state, the confused mind state made that more available. I think quite a lot earlier on we saw Skull Knight kind of tell Guts to kind of man up about the possession and stuff. Kind of harden himself and his mind against it or whatever, but I think that was a little bit of both, really, wasn't it? That was a little bit of the darker side of Guts coming through, but also the possession. Stop it! Like I said, his mind's in a bit of a confusion right now, so look at this little one. Fuck, I'm not doing that again. I'm going in there again. I want to go to my mummy. As it becomes daylight. Is that what we were in? Is that where we were? Between these boulders? Wow. Quite a good spot, honestly. I don't know why, but it looks like a giant brain to me. Guts. Yeah, as I said, what's he going to be thinking now that he's done that? Hey, Casca. Yeah, she's probably going to get a bit feisty again. Understandably so. Stupid as she is, that's just like natural human instinct and such, isn't it? Pain. That's why I've always found it quite interesting. It's like pain equals learning. It is the case, especially I think when you're younger. When there's a lot of kind of controversy about like adults and such hitting their children. I feel like it's very controversial, but I don't fully agree with it. I don't agree with abuse or anything, but the fact does remain that you do learn from pain. I think that's why you see a lot of very successful people having that kind of childhood trauma and such. But eventually it does kind of catch up with them and it ends up massively negatively affecting them. So it's an interesting debate. But again, the fact remains there'll be trauma later on in life, but you do learn lessons that way. It's just human nature to learn what makes you feel pain and to stop that. If I learn this, that stops that. So it's interesting how our brains work like that, isn't it? Quite amazing that our kind of ancient ancestors and their kind of instincts and such are still with us a lot today. You think a lot of I think in the future a lot of our brains and stuff will be kind of overridden, like I mentioned earlier, in this kind of age of technology and such. A lot of our kind of instincts and a lot of again the kind of stuff that's been passed down throughout generations probably will get lost. Kind of virtual world of the future. Again, it's quite scary to think about. Oh, good. Ah, Casca? Yeah, she looking mortified right here. Look at that face. Beautiful hair. Then we're back here. Back to fucking step one. Bolt. Hey! Aye! Yeah, back to the biting. Again, I've seen this before, haven't we? A long time ago. Casca! Ooh-ah. Oh dear. Ooh. We're just gonna follow her. Alright, what else can you do, really? What are we good? What do we do? At this rate, I never see that said like that. What do we do? What do we do? At this rate, she'll just get farther and further away. Not like there's any remedy in this situation, really, is there? Here, she's stuck so close to you, sensing you've been protecting her since the Tower of Conviction. And now it's all ruined. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Didn't mean to break that to you. He looks at his strangle hand. Don't you worry over it. That was something the evil spirits compelled you to do. Can I really tell myself that? Desire this. It wasn't me. Again, really liking this. Questions Guts has for himself right here. It's a confusing place, isn't it? The lines are blurred between what actually is his will and what isn't. This is bad though. If it's like this at sunset. Whoa. Yeah, it looks like we're tied her up. Looking like a slave. Wow. Has to be done, I guess. Has to be done. How difficult must that be, by the way, kind of putting kind of negative gaps like this in between your artwork and making it kind of, yeah, pretty impressive stuff. Gee! Now, come on. Whoa, hold on. You're taking this too far. Even considering it's pitiful. This is no better than that witch hunt. What else can we do? What else can you do? Yeah, Gut says exactly what I said. What else can I do? You might be right. But she'll hate you even more. That is the sad fact, isn't it? He now looks like some kind of tyrannical kind of slave owner or something. Why does Casca look so cute in this shot? I think it's the way her eyes are drawn. Right now, protecting her and moving quickly are most important. Nothing else matters. Little sad Puck. I do like that big-eared characters. Sounds weird to say, but their ears kind of say a lot of their emotions as well, don't they? They're kind of flopping like that, pointing high up, like a dog. Like a dog, it's almost like when it points really high up, really excited. Down like this. I was prepared. I knew a journey wouldn't be easy. 2 of us branded. It's not just the rigors of travel. It goes far and beyond a personal war. Fighting to protect someone. Like a dog now, isn't she, Casca? Like tie her up, walk her like a dog now, keeping her on the tree like a dog. She is no smarter than a dog, to be fair. But it's just horrible the fact we have to do this. Oh wow, got some big scythe bastards here. I've always liked the scythe. Always a really cool weapon. That horrible scene in, is it Hostel 2, I think, with there being like a scythe and someone cutting some woman open to bathe in her blood. Always really, they're disgusting movies. Not bad horror movies though. Not bad horror movies. Overhated for sure, but not underrated. They're not great, but they do have some pretty gross moments. And it's not just about completely protecting Casca, because my death will result in her death. I watched quite a lot of those kind of torture movies during like the 2000s, 2010s. They were pretty much the only kind of big horror movies coming out during that period. All the Saw movies, which I've seen all of, which got progressively worse as it went on, and then Hostel movies and stuff like that. It's quite amazing. I was looking up Terrifier yesterday actually, and I was really amazed by the scores on Rotten Tomatoes. Again, I know that Rotten Tomatoes isn't everything, and the actual percentages on there aren't 85% out of 100. It's 85% of critics recommend it, at least like 2 out of 4 stars recommend it, then them all giving it like 5 stars. But I was pretty amazed by the ratings of it, considering I think a movie like that 10 years ago probably would have got maybe half the rating, to be honest with you guys. Quite interesting. It's quite a thirst again for the brutal. Because my death will result in her death. I'm used to fighting to survive, but that grows worse daily. Is the pressure not to die. But what grows worse daily, is the pressure not to die. Definitely. This thing, he's actually got a bit of a burden now. Rather than an active seeking goal to find Casca, he's found her. Now he's like, it's almost like I imagine pretty much all of you guys have played like a first person shooter or a Resident Evil game or Silent Hill or something, and you've had to have a kind of escort mission, kind of escort your AI CPU partner, which is just fucking awful. This is actually, yeah, this is exactly that, isn't it? This is the escort mission right here. The classic escort mission where your AI partner just gets in your way and is absolutely useless, and you're just cursing them all the way through. Again, slightly different here because she's nowhere near as bad as that, but she is on the same level kind of movement wise and usefulness wise. This is exactly that. You know what, I've hardly ever played a game with a good version of an escort mission like that. Hardly ever. Can't really name one off the top of my head, to be honest with you. Have I ever before wielded a sword so heavy? I mean, she's still looking pissed off, but she looks a little better. Look at little Puck. Giving her a little rub. I love Puck. Puck, he's so awesome, isn't he? Making sure she's okay there. But yeah, that's a good question. Has he ever wielded a sword so heavy? I don't think so. I don't think so just yet. I was prepared. Ah dear. But still, almost everything. How nasty is that? She literally could have killed you there, and just smack her in the face like that. Like, had to, because again, she could have killed him, and him dying. Again, we just went through that. Look at Puck as well. It's awful, isn't it? It's awful. You know what I say? I say we get some demons in here, and we let the demons have at Casca. Not kill her, but just keep. This sounds terrible, but keep bringing her back to that traumatic place that she remembers some of her memories, where she remembers some of the ongoings of the eclipse, and maybe eventually she might get her memories back. Again, it sounds like a fucking terrible idea, doesn't it? It sounds like a good way to give someone like a heart attack or just completely destroy their brain. Although it's already pretty messed up, but yeah, it sounds actually really torturous now I say it out loud. But got to do something to get her memories back. Got to make her who she was in some way, right? It's so like the person she was one of the best characters in the series, and lost her forever. Just sucks, doesn't it? Like I said, we could try anything to get them back. Even again, something as torturous as putting her through similar situations that she was in. That's what I'm resorting to here. Perhaps I was holding on to some indulgent hope. If only we could connect somehow. Looks like Guts is having a similar thought, not similar in sense of of bringing the demons, but trying to connect something or something like that somehow. As we see this most cat-looking face here, just saying "fuck off." So far away, and that is where we're ending off. Literally. Look at this. This just encapsulates it very nicely, doesn't it? So far away, kind of standing wise. At the start of these chapters, we were right next to each other, holding on to each other in the cold. Now we're this far away by the fire, with a leash around her fucking arms. Awful, isn't it? Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, really good couple chapters today, weren't they? Really good couple chapters. Love these ones a lot, to be honest with you. I think this one went through some very interesting stuff with Casca and Guts, but I think I preferred the first one with us seeing again more of the Fox spirit, bringing up those questions and seeing those questions kind of in kind of actuality here and through kind of their life and their daily events. And then obviously the Guts getting possessed was a huge moment here, especially a huge moment after last chapter, and him already questioning himself now even more so. I feel like this is maybe his way of, as much as she's distanced himself, this is his way of kind of protecting her in a way as well, not getting too close to her and not making sure that doesn't happen again, making sure he doesn't kind of give in to the anger and the darkness around her, so that doesn't ever happen. Never puts his hands on her again, as he's actually looking at his hands yet again here. The rope that clings onto Casca from far, the blood they've spilled together, been through together, and then the hand that choked her. And some very poetic stuff in these chapters, wasn't there? Some beautiful stuff, and that's just the stuff I picked up on. You guys know I missed quite a lot of stuff, so that's just what I was able to surmise from this. But yeah, let's read some comments to finish off, and then we'll have a look again, because I forget what the next chapter's names are. Yeah, I really like that line. Have I ever before wielded a sword so heavy? And no, I don't think he has. As much as everything he's been through to this point, this is the heaviest burden he's had on his shoulders, isn't it? No, it's just a bunch of nonsense really in the comment section. But yeah, just quickly have a little look at what the next chapters are called, then I'll do my outro. So yeah, next time we've got Scattered Time and Fangs of Ego, which is again don't really get too much from that in terms of knowing what's coming. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, brilliant a couple chapters to start this volume off today. In general, the last few chapters have just been absolutely fantastic, haven't they? Yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this one down in the comment section. Leave a like on the video if you guys do like, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date. I'll be back next time with the next few chapters, so I'll see you guys then. Enjoy the rest of your day.